Hey all, my name is Kurt and I'm here with Trenton. Welcome to SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. And today, Trenton, I've got a special surprise for you. You had a surprise last video, now it's my turn.
Okay.
But it's I don't have a blanket over it though.
You got to have a bigger element of surprise. I can see what it is. I have a general idea of what the theme might be.
And when you walked down, I bet you were super excited too, weren't you?
No. No, it wasn't too bad.
It's just not your thing, and I get that. Today, I tell you what we're going to do. I thought it was a good idea because I have a ton of comments and personal messages on Facebook and Instagram with a lot of folks that's in our subscribership now that are basically brand new into bourbon.
Okay.
And a lot of them looking for lower proof options because, as you know, there's a lot of talk amongst YouTube and everywhere else concerning higher proof and cask strength bourbons.
100%.
And I get that.
Yep.
So today I want to trot out 5 of my personal favorites that are lower proof and budget friendly. Okay, so it's a twofold thing there. Now, this is not his list. This is my list, and that's why the glasses are out here, because I want you to taste a little bit with me as we go along to give me your thoughts. And don't be afraid, and you normally not, to tell me, well, why'd you pick that?
Yeah. Oh, I will. And for those of you that are like, well, why didn't Trenton pick anything? Yeah. Low proof bourbons aren't necessarily my bag. They're very much his, and I'd rather cater to his. You're an expert. His expertise about lower proof stuff. I drink lower proof stuff here and there. I normally don't dip below 100 proof. That's just kind of my wheelhouse is 100 proof or higher. Yes. So I'm looking forward because I don't think I've tried. I think I've tried most of these except for 1 or 2. So I'm excited to give them a shot and see what I think. Okay.
All right, let's get into it, buddy. My first bottle that I want to show you is Benchmark Small Batch.
Okay.
Right? Remember we did that whole review on Benchmark? That was one of them that we liked pretty well. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I thought you were going to correct it.
Nope. I had no idea. This bad boy is 90 proof, Trenton, and it costs about $17.
Okay.
And I think it's a pretty solid offering for that price tag and being a lower proof option.
Yeah.
I really do.
And we did a video about a bench, like the whole Benchmark lineup. Yeah. I can't remember where it sat in that lineup for me.
Yeah.
I don't think it was bad, but we'll see.
No. Definitely not bad. It wasn't our worst one. I think Top Floor was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
That or the Bonded. I don't think the Bonded did too well.
Maybe that one. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Really beautiful, sweet kind of nose going on here. And these I see quite a bit. So they're budget friendly, low proof. Are these readily available too? All of them?
Correct. And of course, I'm speaking of my area, and I hope for your area too. It would have been easy for me, Trenton, honestly, to pull out Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, one of my absolute budget-friendly, lower-proof bottle favorites of all time, Evan Williams Single Barrel. But, Buffalo Trace can't be found in a lot of areas. Some of you can, so I'm not going to include that. Evan Williams Single Barrel is Kentucky now only.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
It's a bummer, man. So
I've seen
it's
those
like 86 proof and fantastic, so we're not including that today either.
Are those the vintage ones you're talking about?
Yes.
I've seen those go up to like $59.99.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are getting hard to get. Huh? Yeah, that is. So I'm trying to pull bottles that most everybody should be able to find on your shelf.
So I got to ask you, what do you like about that?
To me, it's kind of very vintage bourbon. I mean, for $17, 90 proof, I'm getting some. You all right there? I'm getting some caramel in there. I'm getting a little bit of butterscotch in there, and I don't really get anything that's offensive or like we talked about. Sometimes we talk about that oak being too bitey or anything like that. I don't sense that in there at all.
I get just a little bit of a harshness towards the back. I think there's I get a really nice like a cherry sweetness kind of thing, and I do see the butterscotch as well. Yeah. I'm going to go back and watch our Benchmark video because I'd be interested to see where this ranked and what I said about it. I haven't had anything to drink today, but this is a solid start.
$17.
That's hard to beat. Yeah,
all right,
that's hard to beat.
Let's move on. This one may surprise some folks, but last time we had this on the show, I was impressed. I really was.
Was I impressed? Was I even on the show? This might have been long enough ago.
You were impressed.
I was.
Four Roses bourbon.
Did you go back and watch it?
No, I didn't. This is an entry level from Four Roses, right? 80 proof. Can't get any lower than that in proof point. It is about $20, and from the website it says it's about 5 years old.
Okay.
So this one here is, I think, very, very good as an pure entry level type bourbon for folks out there looking for lower proof.
This might surprise some people, but I'm not I'm not notoriously a huge Four Roses fan. The single barrel, I like the most out of anything, disregarding the rare releases or limited releases that they put out. But I very rarely, unless it's a killer store pick that somebody sent me a sample of, or I bought a bottle of off of somebody from, I don't gravitate towards Four Roses a ton.
I know you don't. On this one here, I can tell you my thoughts. I think it's in a lighter profile, a lighter flavor profile. So I'm getting those honey notes, a little bit of floral. A little bit of floral in there as well.
Okay.
And basically maybe some light brown sugar. But I think it's a very nice a bourbon in an entry level type. And for $20.
I completely understand where you're coming at with the floral note. It's kind of like if you bit a dandelion, or like something that you just plucked out of the yard, or like those little.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've bitten a dandelion. I'm thinking.
What are the things that you blow on to make a wish of? The little puffy looking doodads?
Yeah, that's a dandelion after it's gone to seed.
To seed. It's like I remember this one time I blew on one and made a wish when I was a kid, and the wind sucked it back right in my mouth. And that's kind of what it tastes like to me. It was a traumatizing experience. I almost choked. I did choke, and that's kind of what I get on this. I'm not getting. I wish I was getting a honey flavor, but I'm not.
Okay.
But again, that's where I struggle with the lower proof kind of thing. You
do a little bit, and I think you just need to open your mind a little bit and quit being so closed-minded on these.
I'm not being closed-minded. I'm getting dandelion notes from it and everything. What are you talking about?
There's some nice notes in there as far as I'm concerned. And 80 proof, too. I think that's one of the, we've got quite a few, budget type bourbons that are that 80 proof level. And I think this one's pretty stellar for that.
Yeah.
For that market.
Not my favorite, but not bad.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Going on with Elijah Craig Small Batch. Now, this one's 94 proof, and it's going to run you probably about $25. Okay?
Okay.
So, this is not Elijah Craig barrel proof, so keep that in mind.
I can't tell you the last time I had 94 proof Elijah Craig. This is like one of my go-to cocktail mixers.
Well, and again, it is for me too, and that's why my bottle's a little bit low. I can't say that my wheelhouse is roughly in that 100 proof, 90, closer to 100 proof to 110. That's kind of where I really like it the most. But I really do enjoy a 90 proof bourbon as well. I really do. So,
man, I don't know if it's because we went from an 80 proofer to 94 proofer, but the nose on this seems really concentrated.
It is.
Is that butterscotchy or something?
Yeah, it's got a lot more. It's got almost a molasses note to it in there. It's darker. It's definitely a lot darker than the first two that we tried. On the nose, a really nice brown sugar note too. That's
going to compete pretty heavily with that one for me on the nose at least. Palate, interesting. I haven't had this in a long time.
Right. It kind of right off the bat, I find some sweetness there, and it's more brown sugar type, a little bit darker, maybe a touch of molasses, but there is some earthiness there too.
Definitely.
And I don't know if that's a tobacco note, possibly.
I was leaning a little bit
something like that, but it gives a little bit more depth of flavor than what you find in the first two for me. And it is a fabulous mixer too. There's no question about that. And it's been a long time since we've talked about Elijah Craig Small Batch, but definitely one of my.
Have we ever talked about Elijah Craig Small Batch?
It'd have to be a long time ago.
Yeah.
So that's one that ranks up there real high for me.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
If I were to go to a buddy's house and he's like, "Hey, this is what I got.
Here's your choices."
I'd be thrilled. Yeah.
Oh, sure. All right, pal. Let's move down the line here. Here's one we both like. I know for sure.
Walker's gonna love this one.
17. This is for you, my man. 1792 small batch. So this one's it's going to be that's about $30, and I found different prices, but around here might be closer to 35 in your area, but here it's pretty close to $30. Okay, and it's 93 proof. So that's where you stand there. This is one of my absolute favorites in the lower proof type range.
This is one that I'll
and especially budget friendly. Sorry.
Yeah. This is one that I will start with if I'm
go ahead
ramping up to some barrel proof stuff. By far, maybe even without a doubt, my number one lower proof kind of bourbons that I love. Great price point. It's always available. It's got some really nice complex flavors that I can remember. I haven't had it in about a week or so.
Yeah,
but
I get a lot of fruity notes on the nose.
Fruity pebbles, even. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. I mean, what's not to like? Mm-hmm. It has some. And I don't know if it's still like trailing from this Elijah Craig here, but a little bit kind of an earthy note, like a barrel note.
Yeah, a
maybe?
barrel note.
Yeah,
it's not the tobacco that we're talking here, but it is. I could go with that barrel note. I still get some fruity tones on there with some caramel. I really, it's such a fantastic offering for about $30, and especially if you're looking for something a little bit lower proof. Don't pass this up.
Yeah, very nice all around, very well balanced bottle, available, good price point. I mean, what more could you ask for?
The last one, buddy, is one we have never had on the channel. Yep. And I don't even know if you've ever even tasted it. I've only had like a smidge, very little bit. Green River.
I have not had this one.
A lot of people really like this, and people ask me, why don't you ever have it on the show?
Okay.
Truth of the matter is, we didn't have it up here for the longest time.
We did?
No. Harry's got it now.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I got it from, and it was $35, and it is 90 proof.
Okay.
So this is going to be, one that we're going to have. This is kind of like a, first time tasting for both of us here to see how we like it.
I will say,
a lot of people do like it.
I will say that Green River sources for some NDPs, non-distilling producers.
Okay.
We have actually done a barrel pick with one of those. I'm not going to Blue Note sources from Green River.
Okay. Gotcha.
And at Uncut Unfiltered, the best bargain that we've ever had in an uncut unfiltered product, I think.
Yeah.
I'll go out on a limb to say that.
For sure.
So I'm excited. This is what, 90 proof?
It is.
And the price? Did you say the price?
It's about $35.
Okay.
Now, let me know if it's a little cheaper in your area, and I'll get on Harry for that. But that's what I paid. That's what I paid Harry, $35. But I'm getting some fig raisin on the nose, Trenton. I really am.
I didn't even smell it.
I don't know if you are or not.
I just went full send and tasted it.
Go ahead.
What'd you say, raisin?
Yeah, I'm getting a little almost raisiny fig thing going on the nose a little bit.
Gold raisin, regular raisin?
Oh, come on now. Seriously.
You can't tell the difference?
Lucky to get raisin.
It's almost, it's like a sugar-covered raisin. Kind of. It's not, I don't like raisins, so I probably haven't had one since like preschool, and that was a snack or whatever. But it's figgy.
I really like that.
Yeah.
I'd have to get into that a little bit more, but it's almost figgy, kind of like that to me. I do sense, of course, a little bit of caramel note in there, but there's more to it that I like to. I will say this though, that is the most viscous sip that we had of the grouping on the bar top. I do like the viscosity of that.
Bear with me. It's. I agree with the viscosity part of it,
sure.
But I feel like the flavor at the tail end just kind of falls off a cliff pretty rapidly. I don't know if that's just me. And again, lower proof isn't my bag, but compared to the benchmark and even the Four Roses and the other four, I got a little bit more flavor. Lingering towards the end. This one, it's just kind of like one of those numbers.
I don't know. I don't. It's difficult because when you bump up, here's the difficulty. When you bump up in proof just a little bit to that 100 proof mark, there is a plethora of bourbons around that $20 to $30 mark that are really, really good, right? So in the lower proof version, and it is $35, I do think it's a pretty good bottle. Would it be my absolute favorite at this point? Probably not, but I like to spend a little bit more time with it.
Yeah. I might have to steal a sample of yours when I leave, because I'd be interested to try, or maybe just get a bottle of my own and sit down with it for a couple hours and see what it's all about. But not bad overall. Yeah. I wish there was a little bit more flavor development towards the back of the palate, but not bad. It leaves it's kind of drying too for me.
I will tell you, I didn't sense that at first when I said it. I get what you're saying there.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit parched.
Well, I should have poured you some water. My apologies.
The only thing we got back here is bourbon samples, so that's not going to cut it.
Hey, that's all we got for you today. Do me a favor if you could, please. I think it's important now and then to talk about and discuss budget-friendly whiskeys. Because times are tough. We don't all have wads of money stuffed in our pockets, and we got a budget where we can budget. And so, if you like this theme, we've got a few other ideas. We can go over cask strength bourbons. What's some of our favorite budget Cask strengths.
I'll lead that one.
We got Scotch. What are some of my favorite Scotch budget bottles?
Rise even?
Rise. I mean, you can go on forever.
Yeah.
So, but one thing we don't want to do is put stuff out there you don't want to see.
Yeah.
So if you want to see more of this subject matter, let us know. We'll be happy to do it. That's all we got for you today. Thanks so much, each and every one of you. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. And we'll see you next time right down here with Trent and I in a good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.